Okay, so what is a leap year? For a year to be qualified as a leap year, right, there are two important conditions. Very first thing is we should check whether a given year is a century year or not. So if a given year is century year, it should be divisible by 400 for it to qualify as a leap year. But if a given year is a non-century year, then for it to qualify as a leap year, it only has to be divisible by 4. Right. So having said this, right, let us look at what logic we can write. Right. A very simple thing, the very first two standard statements. Then, right, I am writing a function whose name is leap. Now the return type of this function is bool. Right. Bool stands for boolean in C++. Right. Boolean typically means true or false. So this function is leap. It is going to return us either true or false. This function has a single parameter which is an integer, right, which would be the year which we would be passing. Right. Now let us have a look at this piece of code, right, the function definition. Right, again in this, what I am doing is my input year, right, I am first checking whether that year is century year or not. Right, now to check whether it is century year or not, that year has to be divisible by 100. So if it is completely divisible by 100, it would qualify as a century year. Right, now in this particular case, I am using this percentage operator. This operator, it is also called as a modulus operator, or it is also called as a remainder operator. So it will divide year by 100 and it will return us the remainder. That is what it would do. So if I say that year mod 100 equals to 0, what it means is that this year is divisible by 100, means it is a century year. So if it is divisible by 100, then what I am checking? I am checking whether that year is divisible by 400 as well. And if it is divisible by 400, only then I am returning true. True means this would be a leap year. And if it is not divisible by 100, I am if it is not divisible by 400, I am returning false, meaning it won't be a leap year. Right. Then in the else part, now this else is for this if. What it means is that this year is not a century year. Right. So if it is not a century year, I will simply check whether it is divisible by 4 or not. If it is divisible by 4, I will simply return true, means it is a leap year. If it is not divisible by 4, right, it will return false, meaning again it is not a leap year. Right. Then I am taking a variable in my main, which is y. Right, I am printing enter the year in integer. Right, then I am taking its value in y. Then I am just printing a new line, that is NL. Right, and then I am checking in my if. Right, I am calling my function. Now this is a little different thing, that I am not taking its value in some variable and checking. Instead what I am doing is I am calling that function in if itself. So this function call is leap. It would be replaced by either true or false, because my boolean returns me true or false. Right. So if my year which I am sending, that is y, if it is a leap year, right, it will return true. So if true, it will print leap year, else it will print not a leap year. Right. Let us check that out. Right, it compiled. Right, now it is asking me to enter. So if I say 2000, right, now 2000, it is a century year because it is divisible by 100, and since it is a century year, I should also divide it by 400. So 2000 would be divisible by 400, and hence it would qualify as leap year. Right, now let me check for another input, as I asked 2100. Right, now 2100, it is giving me as not a leap year. Why? Because 2100, even though it is divisible by 4, but it specifically is a century year. Century year again means divisible by 100. Because it is a century year, right, it should also be divisible by 400. So 2100 is not divisible by 400. That is the reason it is not a leap year. Right, let me check for 2020, our current year. Again 2020, it is not a century year, right? So I would simply check if it is divisible by 4. So yes, it is divisible by 4, and I am saying this is a leap year, right? And let me check 2019. Again 2019, not a century year and not divisible by 4. So it is not a leap year. I hope you guys understood this.